you go from you don't have any parents and you're in this like really tough situation that you gotta, look for the silver lining in every dark cloud. You gotta look for all the opportunities in a neighborhood where it seems like there are no opportunities. You gotta look for that stuff. But then you go to Milton Hershey School where every single opportunity is just there. And all you gotta do is say the word. The school is willing to match whatever your ambition is. And that's when I knew I was like, it's go time, baby.
I could never have imagined growing up in Philadelphia that I would have graduated from college, that I would have had the ability to have my own family, and I'm very proud of my wife and 2 sons and the fact that I have been able to break the cycle of poverty by having them live in a different way than I would have grown up had I not had this opportunity from Milton Hershey School.
Milton and Catherine Hershey's vision was amazing all that time ago. Their humility, their compassion, their generosity, I think that it would be tough to match even today.
We tell our students now that their income and their family income does not have to determine their outcome, that they are just as capable as any other child on earth, that they need the determination to work through the adversity that they've been born into, and through that, use that as a strength. And I think that that is the message of Milton Hershey School in my experience here, but also for our current students, is a sense of what we call grit. Our students have it, our students practice it, and we excel, and every one of our graduates excels as a result of learning that when they're here.
I see like a lot of kids who come from privilege, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm kind of disadvantaged because I can't just call mom, I can't call dad, I gotta pay rent somewhere when I go home for breaks. What is home? That's my problem. But then again, like Milton Hershey, I had that. I've had it good, I've had it better than a lot of people. And a lot of times, like kids at Milton Hershey don't see that. We didn't see that. We were always like, the world is out to get us. And it was kind of true, but then again, we had Milton Hershey putting us through school. There's advantage in your adversity, believe it or not. And that's what I just want to be the example for.
I know that there are a lot of bad influences where I come from and from my family background. And being here definitely has made me a better person overall, but also has helped me to grow and to know that I can be successful.
The adults and the support that I had here helped me to helped show me that I might not be like the bee's knees, but I can be a really great person, and that taking constructive criticism makes you a better person, because who I am now and who I become in high school is who I'm gonna be for the rest of forever. So this is the basis of life.
Before I came here, I was really shy to be myself and persevere through my hard times, but the Milton Hershey School has taught me that no matter my background or what I've come from, that I can be successful.
I never thought I would get my scholarship paid for, or I never really thought I would be able to go to college, really, because of just my background, really. And I never thought I would have such great friends as I do now, and just this school has changed me for the better.
My name is Claire Ogle, and I was Kayvon's house parent his junior year of high school. I always knew about the Milton Hershey School. My brothers would wrestle here, and then a couple years ago, my husband and I had an unplanned adoption, And so I was teaching at inner city high school, he was a youth pastor, and we thought, okay, I think it's time for a change. So we prayed about it, we thought about it, we kind of went back to thinking about the Milton Hershey School, found the job about house parenting. It talked about living with a bunch of students, talked about driving things like a 15-passenger van or cooking for a lot of people, things that we kind of already were doing a lot of anyway. And so we just were kind of like, okay, God, if this is where you want us, this is what we'll do. So we applied and just kind of kept going through the interview process, and then we got the job. Sometimes it's something simple. One of our boys will come home and say, I passed my math test. Someone who's just been having such a hard time with math all year. And then sometimes you have the bigger things where they're gonna come back and say, I got a 3.9 in college this semester, or I got into college, and those things are hugely rewarding. Even just seeing our son, and then we also have an infant now, when they say, like the boys' names, that's rewarding. Like that they just love them so much and that they can play together, and to see the high school boys play with our kids, that's super rewarding. Getting to work with my husband's rewarding. There's too many rewarding things about it to say just one. In terms of our role as house parents, leaving the house together is tricky. We are off during the day from 8:30 to 2 if we don't have any other trainings or anything, or we can also leave one night a week. We can each take what they call a night out. So we have a couple of hours of unscheduled time that we can take individually. So one of us can run the house by ourselves. Sometimes it's a challenge, but usually it's fine. But in terms of just leaving and letting the boys make dinner for themselves, that isn't allowed, it doesn't happen.
I remember the first day, my house parents gave me a stuffed animal that I think I had until like the 8th grade. And then I went to my room, and I remember like going into the house and being like, this is ginormous. Like, I've never been in a house this big before. And I went to my room and like was making my bed, and like my house mom told me like go to the water fountain, and I was like, this house has a water fountain in it. And then when I went to the water fountain, I tried to look for my room and I got lost. And like just the idea of getting lost in the house that I lived in was new to me.
Living with Kayvon was awesome. He's so positive all the time that it's almost a little intimidating. He's always willing to help out. He was always encouraging. He's also one of those students that you ask, how are you? And they answer, but then they look at you and they're kind of like, how are you? And they mean it.
On July 9th, 2005, I lost my parents. What happened was my dad was never around. He was like in and out. He was a criminal. Every time he'd come in, he'd like leave again for whatever reason. I was little, I didn't really understand what was going on at the time. But the last time, well, that summer, July of 2005, he tried to kill my mom.
She already took my mom, does he want me next? What's the reason that she's sleeping for? He said someone had to die for you to have success. We decided the world needs you more. I really hope that's not the case. Now I'm locked in a box with the shot in my face. There's a clock in this place. I escape as it winds, cause I'm running out of time. As I'm running out of time, I'm a motherless child. Now my heart is wild and empty, and every day that's passed shows that by the time left me when my mom told me that fateful night that she loved me, I never knew that after that she spent her life suffering.
At first, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to be when I was older. I was like, let me just live this life. But then when everything happened, I was like, okay, whatever it is that I choose to do, whatever I choose to embrace, I need to make it, because I can't just go to mom and dad to save me if I don't make it. I have no fallback plan. I got to make it. So that was the mentality. So I'm in the 4th grade. I'm studying as a 4th grader. But then when we found out about the Milton Hershey School, that's when it was 360. What do I want to do with my life? I still am interested in music. I'm realizing that when I do study, I do well in school. I was really starting to see that it's true. I can do anything I set my mind to, especially with Milton Hershey providing me with every single resource I need. Distinguished guests, members of the Milton Hershey School family, relatives, and friends, I would like to welcome you to the future. I'm really starting to be able to make my goals more concrete, and I'm really becoming enabled with the resources and the ambition, the motivation to actually make those things happen. So whereas when I was little, when somebody told me, you know, you can't, making it to the, you know, becoming a hip hop artist and actually doing well at it is like not, you know, not something to reach for. Going to a really good school, good university, like the Wharton School, that's not realistic. And it's like when your whole life you just defied expectations, you kind of get used to pushing.
My brother Kayvon is my biggest inspiration. He's only 2 years older than me, so I got to see all of his mistakes and how he bounced back from them, and it helped me not to make the same mistakes. And he was always there for me to talk about anything.
Just hearing about different students, how they got here, how they came here, why they stay here, what they do after they come here, that idea of breaking the cycle. Any student that comes here and stays here and does something better afterwards, I think that those are all inspiring. I think that Kayvon Asamani's story is particularly inspiring. He has just done such a good job to do well, to make sure he's doing well, to try to get others to do well.
It's not like I'm more special than anybody else, but I'm afforded these opportunities for whatever reason. I gotta take advantage of them, because that little kid at Milton Hershey who's looking up to me, who, you know, sees me when I go to the homecoming and knows my name and I don't know theirs, if they're gonna look up to me, right, I'm gonna take that responsibility and make sure that kid knows that this is not just a Kayvon thing. This kid can do it too. And everybody at Milton Hershey can do it. And you don't need to go to the Wharton School. You can go to any university. What's not important, the label that you get on your name, you know, on your degree or whatever it is, that's not as important as the confidence that you have in yourself to do anything you set your mind to. There's a kid named Gary Gilliam who graduated from Milton Hershey School. And I mean, long story short, he's in the NFL. He's a starting lineman on the Seattle Seahawks. My brother played on the same football team as him. They went to high school together. But Gary Gilliam, I mean, he was a talented high school player, and he was really good. Like, he was a good recruit. But and he went to Penn State. But I mean, people weren't saying this kid's gonna make it to the NFL, you know? And a lot of people were really doubting him. He got injured in college, all these things. He came from Milton Hershey School. He went to Penn State. But you're not gonna make it to the league. I know that was a sentiment a lot of people had. He got 3 degrees at Penn State. He switched positions. He got a trainer. He entered the draft. He didn't get drafted. He trained some more, tried out for different teams, got put on the Seattle Seahawks as the last person to make it on the team. Hardly got any playing time. Caught a trick play touchdown in the NFC Championship. Didn't even suit up for the Super Bowl that they went to last year, but now he's a starter, and everybody's like, Gary Gilliam's the man. And it's true, he is the man, he did it. But the thing is that he believed in himself when even many other people didn't, and really expanded the possibilities, or expanded the realm of what his possibilities were in his world. And he's accomplished the biggest goal that he could have ever shot for. And I'm trying to do that. And I see that I was trying to do that before I saw him do it, but him doing it is kind of validation, yes, we can accomplish our goals. And so I'm gonna do that, and then I want other kids to see that too. And I'm not Gary Gilliam, I'm not in the NFL or anything like that, but I'm doing my thing, he's doing his thing. Little, Richie and little Mary from Milton Hershey, whoever they are, they could do it too.
As a child, I didn't really have extreme expectations of what I could become. I knew that there were small things that I could become, but coming here and now being a high school student, I know that I can go to a better college. I can push myself beyond the limits that I thought that I could before, and I can become something that I really want to be, not something that's just minimal.
The school has prepared me for things that I don't know if my parents could have. And yeah, I'm eternally grateful.
I found my heart here. I found my passion here. I was supported and loved and valued and respected from the very day I arrived on campus. And it formed who I wanted to be. It formed how I wanted to live my life, and it formed the passion that I wanted to have to serve as many kids as possible and return home and spend the last 24 years working here.
when you take a perspective of a kid who's in Milton Hershey right now, they haven't lived that life outside of Milton Hershey yet, or rather after Milton Hershey yet. They just haven't done it. And nobody can relate to them as they go through it the same way that a graduate can. I mean, not saying that the situation is so unique that it's like you can never find guidance outside of people who have graduated from Milton Hershey. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that the advice, kind of the relationship that resonates the most is between those people who have that common connection that is Milton Hershey School.
I don't mean this to be a motivational speech. Listen, I work hard in school and treat this as my business, and instead of sitting here working for someone else, I'm making money through my music. From this point it's a given, and my grades show all of this to be proof. Don't ever let your dreams serve as an excuse. You got the magic, then poof. You gotta be you and work harder than the rest. That's what you gotta do.